Hi, today I'm going to do the look that I did on Rosie Huntington-Whiteley for the cover of US Glamour that she did with One Direction. And there are lots of images inside as well. And this came out last month. And when I put the images on my website, I had so many requests asking me to show you all how to do this look. And I think it's because it's just one of those classically beautiful, quite sexy makeups that can look great for a date, a girl's night out, a party, whatever. And it was a really great day, actually. So I'm so pleased the makeup turned out and the pictures turned out so well. And all the boys in One Direction were just lovely, although Harry is my favourite. But I have a lovely model today. Her name's Ella. And let's get started. So I'm going to start by using Rimmel Wake Me Up foundation. And this is nice for creating a natural but healthy base. The colour I'm choosing is going to match up really well with Ella's body here at the side of her neck and also her forehead. Maybe feel slightly warm on the cheeks, but I think it'll be good for evening everything out. So before I do concealer, I'm going to do the eyes. I'm just using a little bit of Urban Decay eye primer before we start. First thing for eyes is this Rimmel palette called Orion, which is really nice earthy tones, and I'm going to begin with this medium shade. I'm going to use it all across Ella's eyelids, so it's quite a soft shade, but it's a good base colour to work on top of. So just really patting it into the lids. Next I'm going to use this gel liner, which is by L'Oreal, so it's just plain black, and I'm going to do, close your eyes for me, quite a thinnish line to start with, really working into the roots of the lashes. And because Ella's got quite fair lashes, you need to really get right down in between almost the roots of the lashes. There's no point sort of drawing a line if it's not right down there, otherwise when you open your eyes you have this kind of strip of flesh which never really frames the eyes properly. So I'm not going to go right into the inner corner. I'm going to stop about there and just thin that out. And then at the outer corner, I raise, extend out. So now I'm going to go all along the top of the upper waterline, just tight lining, really in between the roots of the lashes, and just go, look that way for me now, as far along as the liner on the top. And if you can do this with a pencil, which is probably easier for most people, but make sure you choose a waterproof pencil. Now I'm using the brown shade from the eye palette. Just look down for me, actually close your eyes. And I'm just going to really buff along the edge of the liner. So really softening those edges all the way along. And then taking the black with the eyeliner, just really lift up and bring that black really thin into the inner corner, just pressing and dabbing it in between the tiny lashes at the inner corner, just to finish it off. So I'm going to go back with the gel liner, and this time I'm going to use it more as an eyeshadow. So putting my eyeshadow brush, blending it onto the back of my hand. This is a really good way to kind of do quite a strong, long-lasting eyeshadow. Then I'm going to dip into the brown shade from the palette. So this is Powder. And just buff that all in. So I'm left with a kind of smoky brown colour. Just close your eyes for a minute. I use this to create a sort of V shape just at the outer edge. So it's a little bit darker than the brown. I'm also using it to smudge the outer edge of the liner. And then I'm just going to use the powder and just keep buffing that in. And then going back to the original shade that I used all over the lid, I'm going to use that as a transition shade here to blend the black and the dark shade into the centre of the lid. And just keep blending that. Just open for me. So you're just building depth. So now quite a bit has dropped down underneath, but I'm going to use that a little bit. And this is the black liner again, the liner brush, and the brown eyeshadow from the palette. Look up for me. I'm going to just line at the outer edge, just along the lashes, about halfway along. And then using the shadow alone, smudge that in. And then using a Q-tip, smudge it in more. I haven't used concealer yet, so I'm going to have to conceal anyway. And right in that outer edge there where the liner is. And I can pretty much join them up together there. And again with some shadow, just smudge them. And just keep using Q-tips because they're the best thing for smudging liner. And then finish off by going along the whole of the lash line again. Just with a tiny bit of powder. And really smudging and softening everything. Okay, so before I clean up concealer and finish the skin, I'm going to completely finish eyes because I need to lean on the skin and things. I don't want to make that messy. So I'm going to start by giving the eyelashes a really good curl. So for mascara, I'm going to use Lashblast Volume by CoverGirl, and this is a volumizing and waterproof mascara. This looks quite good to use because it obviously is going to last a long time, and after we did the cover shoot there was the One Direction concert, so I really wanted Rosie's makeup to last. And then mascara all the way along underneath as well. Particularly at the outer corner, the outer half really. Make them nice and thick there. So I'm just applying some fake eyelashes. These are the individuals. I'm using that's the glue actually, I'm just dipping into the glue. I'm using the short ones in the centre, so they're quite bushy and just fill out the volume, and then the medium length ones at the outer edge. I've got about 5 medium length ones there. So just drop these on quite close to the roots of the lashes, but not onto the skin. I do have a really in-depth video of how to apply these, so if you are struggling at all, then do check that out. So while the glue's drying from the lashes, I'm going to just clean everything up under here. So any black shadow that's dropped down, clean away. And we can do concealer now. And that's just using the Bioderma cleanser. So I'm just going to smooth the edge of the foundation there again. And now I'm going to use concealer, and I'm using the Revlon ColorStay. So I'll put a little bit of it on the back of my hand. Look up for me. I'm going to apply that all underneath the eyes and a little bit around the side of the nose. And then I'm just finishing off with a little bit of pinpoint concealing using the same concealer. So I'm just going to apply some powder to set any concealing that I've done, mainly forehead, around the sides of the nose and a little bit under the eyes, mainly around the centre of the face and chin. Just going really gently so I don't disturb any of the base. So for eyebrows I'm going to use this palette by Gosh, which is actually a really good one. It's got great shades in it. I'm just going to run the 2 lighter colours, the ashy brown colours, just along Ella's brows. And just fill in whatever shape your brows are. Just fill them in so they're not gappy and they're nicely polished. And always keep brushing in between as well when you're putting powder shadow through them, because that way you can really see what's happening, how much it's developing, and also you're really helping to blend it in. So I'm just staying with Ella's natural brow shape. Rosie's are a little bit thinner than Ella's, but short of plucking them, which I'm not going to do. So just work with whatever shape you have. So for bronzer, I'm going to use this one by E.L.F, which is a bronzing palette with 4 shades in. I'm going to mix those all together. Just take my brush through all of the shades and then take a little bit off onto my arm, and then just start to really softly bring the bronzer through like contour. Just bringing the colour softly along the cheekbone. Not really so much as contour, a little bit contoury, but a nice big shape. So it's very soft and glowy. And this bronzer is nice because it has a little bit of shimmer in, so it gives you that kind of bronzy glow. And then again, down onto the jawline. So a bit like a number 3, you're kind of going along, down and up. And really just have a small amount of product on the brush, because you can always add more, but it's quite hard to take away if you put too much on. If you do put too much on, just use a disc of cotton wool, a dry disc, and you can just buff over and take off the excess. For blusher, I'm going to use this really lovely rosy pink by CoverGirl. This is just really nice to use on top of bronzer. You can sort of follow a similar shape, but you just want it much softer and sort of blending in with the bronzer, so you just get that nice kind of hint of pink coming through onto the cheeks. And then a tiny bit there, not much. Makeup always works better when it's built up slowly, so bear that in mind. So before I do lips, I'm going to use this as the lightest colour from the eyeshadow palette as a highlighter. So it's a sort of beigey, shimmery beige colour. I'm going to take that all along top of the cheekbones. And that just really pops beautifully on the top of the blush as well. And then exactly the same colour just into the inner corner of the eyes. Close your eyes for me. Just really lighten up those corners. So to start lips, I'm going to use a little bit of lip balm. Just really blend that in, rub it in. Then on top of the lip balm, I'm going to use this Always Toasted lip liner by L'Oreal. This is just a really great nude. It's quite pale. Just go all over the lips and then just start to really shape them. And because it's a really good natural looking colour and quite pale, you can really work it into the lips without it looking too overdone. Because I really defined Rosie's eyes quite a lot and kind of extended them out in this sort of feline shape, I gave her more of a natural looking lip. So I'm going to use, I gave her sort of pinky lip. I'm going to use Pink Truffle, and this is one of the lip butters by Revlon. And these are really lovely sheer lipsticks. And they're very moisturising, so they feel really nice. So that's the finished look. Have a look in the mirror for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks great.
Looks very, very glamorous, isn't it? It's a super glamorous makeup, and I think it's one of those just classically gorgeous glamorous makeups. It sort of looks still fresh and healthy because you've got all the bronzer and the highlighter and the very sort of natural lip, but then these really smouldery eyes that are kind of brought out quite feline shape, and I think it looks really, really suits you actually.